Alright, alright, alright. What's up, everybody, and welcome back. We've got Rogue in the top right side of the map and Classic in the bottom left. This is, of course, a game from the WardiTV PTR tournament. You know it's the PTR, not the live version of the game, even though they're almost identical, because it says Snowpiercer here. Upside of it being the PTR, no cyclone bug, less bugs in general, and most things should be working as intended, which is great. Actually, the mothership might be doing more damage than intended in this version. I'm not 100% sure. Usually these tournaments are played on mods rather than the actual PTR itself, but we'll see. If Mama comes out at some point, if she does an insane amount of damage, we'll know that that is the case, since her damage was bugged in the initial version of the PTR. It is a best of 3, guys. Wardy PTR tournament number 2. Hatchgas pool for Rogue, and Classic playing a bit more of a normie opening. Classic very capable of cheesing, but also very capable of just playing as sort of a Korean Showtime. Defensive, solid, standard. And Rogue just chasing him with a drone the whole time is kind of interesting. Not even playing the minigame of tagging drones in and out to try and, you know, minimize the effect of the probe harass. He's like, whatever, keep it simple. And try to minimize the harassment opportunity. Pig, what do you get when you cross a T-Rex with a pig? Jurassic pork. Nice. Just remember, guys, dad jokes are absolutely allowed here in the comment section and the Twitch chat. This is a no shame, shame-free zone. To be fair, I know there's a lot of dads who watch the channel anyway, and let's be real, there's something about most men when they hit their mid-30s, shame seems to just disappear from their body whether or not they have children. There just seems to be this thing where we enjoy making people uncomfortable more and more. We enjoy the cringe, and they're generally more insufferable to be around. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe that's just a me thing, and I'm just projecting it onto the world, but definitely sense it. Injects should be coming in here. Oh, Rogue, a little distracted right now. Hello, Rogue's forgotten his... Oh, gosh, he's like 8 seconds late on his injects. What do we do? 10 seconds late? 10 energy? Oh, damn, that's a real late inject. At least this one was a creep tumor, not an inject, but a little sloppy there. Third hatchery comes up as well. Okay, the Adept's going to come forward. This is not a heavy Adept pressure, guys. Yeah, he's got a second one coming, but he's not committing too hard. Just trying to force Zerglings out of Rogue. But Rogue being heavily supply blocked on 36. Rogue doing his best Dark impersonation. I know I've said that line a few times, but I feel like I'm vacillating between Rogue having the sickest, cleanest openings ever, and then Rogue just having these kind of weird, sloppy supply blocks. And that means he's a bit open right now. With only 3 Zerglings and a Queen there, it's actually worth diving. The problem with this mineral line is you don't have a lot of little gaps behind the minerals to hide in because it's all walled off. But the Adept's going to pick off a few Zerglings. No drones, though. And actually getting it shut down pretty quickly. I think that was a good defense by Rogue. Gets a lot of damage on this. Does shade into the main. 6 Zerglings for an Adept is not a bad trade. As long as you don't lose any drones, Spore Trick goes down. Without any Zerglings here, though, loses a drone. If he loses another one, this is actually completely worth it for Classic. And indeed it is. Gets himself 2 drones. Does not get the third one. But the Oracle flies in, says no Spore Crawler. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Laser Town. Does take out 2 more drones, but almost dies in the process. Third Nexus up behind this. We've got, of course, another Oracle setting up to defend. And that wall-off is nasty, guys. That's a diagonal choke point. You never want to have a full diagonal choke point, because if the unit's not perfectly positioned, Lings can actually flood in there. Every time the Adept attacks, it actually has a lower radius, a lower little like blocking area, essentially, when it's attacking. So if you run in with Zerglings, you can spam click behind this Adept, and every time the Adept stops to attack you, your Lings will actually be able to squeeze down the side of it on this left side. Maybe on the right as well, but definitely on the left with where it was placed. Stalker is a bit of a chunkier unit. You can see its circle. Its collision size is a little bit bigger. Bit easier to wall that off with a Stalker. You can obviously make this a bit smoother by just building a pylon here later. Creating a thicker choke point makes it easier to make sure you're properly positioned. 45 drones here. And going hard on the drones. Rogue's a greedy guy. Especially after he takes damage early. He almost always tries to recover with extreme greed. But losing an Oracle here is Classic. Rogue's happy with that. He'll take an Oracle kill for 2-3 drones. Especially damaging the second one heavily. But Glaives is coming in. It's 4 gate Glaives. And it's a fake pressure. Meanwhile, he's warping in Adepts. Oh, he's actually doing them in vision at his third base. Interesting. Normally you hide these Adepts. But I guess this is just in case Lings flood in. He does want to have some defenders available. Adepts and Oracles coming forward. Let's go. Shades moving in. Queens are going to start to engage these Adepts. 16 more Zerglings building. Roach Warren is building. It's just an incredibly late one. Shade does cancel. Zerglings probing the wall. A couple of Adepts warping in there. Should be able to deflect this quite easily. And yeah, the Adepts should be able to clean that up. Nice defense, nice defense. Adepts shading forwards right now. Robo's almost finished. 53 probes right now against 55 drones. The lair is almost finished. Hasn't put units on the second gas just yet. Overlord down here in the bottom. Beautiful map, this one, guys. Snowpiercer. Now it's called Frostline, so I guess we should start calling it that to get used to it. Get a little vat here with some weird liquid inside. You got some mushrooms. You got some weird stuff going on. And most importantly, you've got 16 Adepts about to ram themselves down a Zerg whose roaches have not popped out yet. 12 roaches in production, 6 queens up front. There's a lot of Zerglings, but Zerglings do not want to fight head on. Abandoning this base temporarily with the drones is absolutely the right call. Transfuse on the roaches could help out as well. Lovely wall off there to buy time. Rogue's drones all hiding in that corner. Needs to put the wall off down. Does get the wall off down. Good cancel into rebuild. Queen's starting to fall though. You got to get down here. These Adepts are realizing, hey, if your roaches are hanging back there, we can just kill all of your queens, and the Adepts are going to shred these Zerglings so fast. Zerglings do nothing against that number of Adepts. They all support each other super well. The Adepts are now shading in. Thinking about focusing the Evo. I mean, you can just wait there. If Rogue finishes the Evo chamber, he's going to wall himself into his own base, which is a nice advantage. And there you go. You just forced him to commit to it. Behind this, classic. Immortal's building 4 more gateways. He's on 3 bases. He's planning an Immortal Adept follow-up push by the looks of it, guys. About 62 probes. That seems like a wild decision. I'm surprised there's no blink, no +1. There is mass gateway coming. Is he actually just going to do mass Adept Immortal? If so, that is a crazy choice. I've never seen 3 base mass Immortal Adept as a follow-up push. He's definitely got Rogue on the ropes right now, though. Classic does take the gases. Charge now starts. Templar Archives comes in and warping in sentries. Now remember, you can use energy recharge on those sentries, hallucinate, and see everything that's going on. Doesn't need to do that just yet, though, because he's got observers, and he's also got Adepts already shading in. Infestation pit goes down for Rogue. 5 more drones building. Rogue is so far down the dirty place, the dirt creek. He does not have a paddle. He's going to have to get his hands dirty. That was canceling the shade. They're going to move forth. They're going to move forth, and they're going to move north at the same time. Not going to be able to cancel that, though. 4 Adepts, they only do 10 damage a shot. Each Adept to the hatchery, and it builds pretty quickly. Gets a bit of damage, though. Could bait these Zerglings into a bad fight. Adepts are going to get engaged. Classic's taking Storm in a 4th base, as well as getting those Forge upgrades behind this. Feels like he's kept Rogue pretty small, but Rogue is realizing, okay, I've recovered. Hive. 2nd Evo chamber. Hydra Den coming down. 4th base coming out. He's going to need to take those gases immediately. Spread creep to that base and turtle like a mother trucker. He's just got to do anything he can to defend and survive. Unfortunately for him, the Observer sees everything, and that makes it pretty obvious when he sees the drones coming out, which actually he's still just building roaches. Okay, now the drones are building. Rogue is building up roaches, but not a scary army. I mean, Classic's army is so much bigger. Not really using the energy ability at all on either his High Templar or his sentries. The longer the game goes, the more you want to be using that ability, but it looks like Classic has just not built that muscle memory. This game was about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago from when I'm casting it, so, you know, maybe just hadn't built it at this stage, but really feel like he's leaving a lot of energy on the table. 4th Nexus on the top left is exposed. Roaches looking to come back to try and help defend. Storm, Archons, Immortals, Zealots. No probes being built for the 4th base right now, but does he really need it? I don't think so. With the Warp Prism coming out, Storm and Immortals, their numbers are so high. Classic looks like he should be able to punch Rogue in the throat and finish this game off. Those Adepts going to come in behind that base. He's going to try and focus down a few of these workers. Here we go. Zealot, Immortal, Sentry, High Templar coming in. Roaches trying to fight this. Nice force fields to trap the Roaches. Rogue's just getting obliterated right now. He's just getting wiped out. The Zealots and the Immortals getting hammered. Storm's landing on the Ravagers. Rogue is going to GG. Alright, a rough start in that game. Taking a bit too much damage early on. Forgetting to inject, and they're getting supply blocked as the Adepts came in. Rogue has got to clean things up on ley lines. Otherwise, it's Classic who's going to be getting laid tonight. Oh, man. Sometimes words pop into my head, and I just can't resist. I have to say them. There's got to be other better things we can say for ley lines. Like when a player loses, we can be like, it's time to lay down and say goodnight. You know, like there's you know, there's other bad puns that we can mix in here. Anyways, oh, like if someone does a 300 IQ play on amygdala, we can you know, we'll be like, whoa, his amygdala is absolutely throbbing because this is a big brain build. I don't know, something terrible. I'm sorry, just got to set up the cringe ahead of time, guys, you know. All right, we're going to be going Hatch Gas Pool for Rogue. Pretty standard stuff. Classic's a big fan of the Showtime opening, the Gate Scout. Gate Scout is the most conservative opening you can do. Usually, most players prefer, if they're going to Probe Scout, to block the hatchery. But he's not going to be able to do that. Now, interesting question I had. Someone said, doesn't the 25 minerals off the hatchery, 275 minerals, completely ruin Protoss openings? Because now it's impossible to block the hatchery. And my immediate response was, I already heard Lambo talking about this, because he'd heard the same complaint. And apparently it's about 2 seconds till the hatchery gets down faster. And on a lot of maps, the pros are already arriving at 35 or 40 seconds, when a 16 hatchery goes down at 48 seconds. So it just means, I think it's the same minigame that's always been played, where different maps have different rush sizes. Sometimes you need to go with a 13 probe. Sometimes you need to send a probe across at the very start if you want to block it. Other times, yeah, you need to send that probe across, then send a second probe down to build your pylon. Like, there's all these different things you can do in order to make sure you get the block down. But yeah, technically Zerg will be 2 seconds faster on the hatchery. So I think it's always interesting when patches come out, because there's a lot of, oh, this completely ruins this. This is no longer playable. That's no longer playable. This is worthless. This is useless. This is good now. That's bad now. And I'm always like, does 2 seconds on a hatchery actually stop your ability to block a hatchery? Because that sounds a little bit exaggeratory, but it'll make a difference sometimes. It just makes the probe block timing a little bit tougher, a little bit tighter. Yeah, it makes a difference. I'm not saying it doesn't make a difference, for sure. Yeah. Just maybe not as big as you think. If you're thinking like, oh, it's ruined it, I can never block a base anymore, you can probably just err on sending the probe slightly earlier if you really want to disrupt a Zerg's opening. Third hatchery does go down. That's no lobe. That's an amygdala. Instead of amygdala, it's not a frontal lobe. He's got a huge, he doesn't have a huge frontal lobe. He has a bigdala. Oh my god. Zephyr9 with the lines in the chat. A bigdala. I have a pigdala, to be fair. Doctor said it was very rare for anyone's brain to be shaped like that and to make those noises. Didn't get the creep tumor. I thought he was going to go for the creep tumor snipe there. Now he goes back in for it, but he won't get it. Classic, wasting a lot of hit points here. That was pretty sloppy on the adept. I don't feel like he needed to finish that shade at all. I think he could have been much more chill with these adepts, and they would have represented a little more threat. Oracle coming out now as well. We've got another adept coming from the gateway. Is he going to take the front nexus? Guys, why are players so obsessed with this nexus? It can get sieged by lurkers or tanks from the low ground, and it's like, it's not even great. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 minerals, so it has less minerals. It's six real mineral patches and only half the gas. Yeah, the gas mines faster, but only after you get rid of this 150 mineral patch that's terrible. This base just sucks. Like, taking this third into this fourth base is so good on this map, but I keep seeing people take this base, and I'm just like, I feel like players see the purple gas, and they're like, oh, purple gas, good. I'm like, are you hero with a gold base where you just can't resist? This is not a good base. It's a really bad base. It's in an exposed position, and it has half the gas, and 3/4 of the minerals of a normal base. I don't know. I'd love to hear people's arguments on why it's good. Maybe I'm missing something. I truly feel like if people spent any time looking at the map and thinking about it, they'd be like, oh, this is a waste of time. You can take it as a 4th or a 5th base if it's in a convenient position, if you're planning to expand up here as well. So 3rd here, 4th up the top. It's kind of a nice, safe 5th in the middle or something, or as a 4th base. But taking it as a 3rd, it just seems like that's one of your really important first 3 bases. Yeah, it's on your push path, which is kind of nice. Easy to defend while doing blink pressure, but not my favorite expansion by any means. How much faster does gas mine? This is double mining efficiency. That gives you, so basically it's like 3 extra workers mining, whereas gold minerals only give you 40%. So this is 100% bonus mining. Gold minerals are plus 40%. Pig, will you go over the Home Story Cup games today? When the replays come out, I'll be casting those. Replay packs should drop in a few days once the tournament's over. Looking forward to it. I'll try and, as always, cast all the best series. If there's any interesting games, recommend them, guys. !best games. Link me your suggestions of really exciting matches to make sure I don't miss them. It's very hard to go through videos of 12 hours of 2 streams running a day for 3 days straight and not miss anything. If you guys ever have any good suggestions, I love to see those in the comments. Or people who actually go to the Google Forms, even better. Oracle's dancing around. Queen's coming south. Oracle goes in. Oracle goes out. Oh my gosh, really? In the face? Oh, that's Chad. Gets one of the queens and 2 drones. Not too bad. Chad maneuver. I don't know if it's a good maneuver, but definitely an annoying one. That looks like Classic part of the school of stasis trap spam. That's how I've been playing it. But you do need to keep refilling the energy on these oracles to make that super worth it. Stalker's gathering on the front. Blink and +1. Looks like it's going to be a 6-gate blink pressure. Off 3 bases for Classic. Stasis trap does go up behind the mineral line, but no, it does get pushed back. Remember, this is not the latest version of the map on ladder, because the latest version, this is purple down here. Rather than being all fiery and glowing, it looks more magical. I guess to fit in with the theme of ley lines. Purple gas does now go down on this base, and I imagine Classic takes a 4th base behind while going Stalker Storm. Infestation pits on the way as well as a Hydroden. Oh, the door's wide open. Classic takes a leaf out of Hero's Book of How to Lose in PvZ for free. Oh, no Warpins available, I guess. Oracles do come back and deal with it. But the Ling's going to get in that main base. Big disruption here. And he's got Lings on the 4th as well. Cannon, though, has finished. Stalker's going to poke. Got to watch out for getting surrounded. You can run back to this ledge and blink back there, though. That is one other reason why this is a bad base to take. Even as the Zerg against Protoss. Protoss can run in here and then just blink back from the ledge to the low ground. See how Classic takes advantage. Oh, he's going to recall. I'm pretty sure you can blink at least the back layer. You might have to move like this close. But if he blinked those back a little bit at a time, I do think that would have worked. Hive and Lurkerden on the way. Very good against Stalker Storm. I expect Storm to start up with his next 200 gas. He's got the double gas mining now, but it's still mining later than he would have had double gas mining on a 3rd base. So it's still an awkward position to be in for Classic right now. Down 20 workers. Feels like he's incredibly committed to this Stalker pressure. Hasn't found much damage. Hydras are in position. The Stalker's trying to punish him. Good blink back so far for Classic. Rogue with a concave. Hydras on the high ground. Queen's there with transfusers available. And cancel on the 4th base. Easy cancel. Dude, Rogue's all over this. Feels like Classic doesn't have much going for him right now. Blink wasn't quite done, which is why he didn't blink from the cliff. Oh, good catch, Twitch chat. Sorry, guys. Felt pretty late in the game, so I thought blink would already be done, but I guess so much has been happening already, I lost track of that. No 4th base is always a problem. Oh my gosh, it's going to get cancelled again! Dude, Classic's screwed. This is just a terrible spot to be in. Even if he had a 4th base, he's on 59 workers with this garbage man base. A bunch of his probes aren't even mining. These units are all following each other, having some sort of drugs. I don't know if there's terrazine gas getting huffed or what's going on in this Protoss base, guys, but that is not it. Okay, he finally fixed it up. Wait, that was the probe that was meant to build the 4th! Oh, that was the probe that was meant to build the 4th base. Oh, man. Finally, that probe is going to head in that direction. Zergling's going after the High Templar. It was blocked on that base. High Templar getting hammered. This probe's going to move down, take the Nexus, starts the pylon, starts the 2nd pylon. Oh, this is just a disaster. Dude, like, Rogue's just casually walking to a Lurker macro game, and Classic's just like, I'm on 62 probes, starting my first Robo? This is game over. This is not a very close series right now. This is Classic smashed Rogue with that opening harassment. Game 2, Rogue is just doing light harassment and finding ridiculous payoffs with it. I mean, Classic he's going to make a fleet beacon. I think 2nd Robo's Fleet Beacon Tempest could help, but you need a 2nd Robo, and you need it right now, mate. Here we go. Stalker, Zealot, High Templar coming forward. Lurkers are set up, though. This army does not do well versus Lurkers. Clearing creep is always a good move. Oh my gosh! He's going to try and bust. Gets a Lurker. Nice. Oh, good storms. Oh man, the Lings and the drones both get hammered, but Lurker, Hydra flank, good storms. Dude, this is a great fight for Classic. Classic taking a forward position, can't really fight into the Lurkers, but using a position to kind of wedge the Terran. And the Terran is kind of stuck trying to defend sorry, not the Terran, the Zerg is stuck trying to defend 2 sides at once. And you just need to get those Tempests out, make more High Templar, recharge energy, and you cannot let Rogue get across this map. You cannot let Rogue get across here. Units lost tab is now 2,000 in your favor. Oh, you don't want to attack into it, though. No. This is a bit crazy now. Getting a few Lurkers is good, but transfuse. Oh, the Queens are there with the Band-Aids. The Lurker was like, Mom, they're storming me. Ow, ow, ow. And she just slapped like 14 Band-Aids all over it. The kid instantly stops crying, and you're like, did it even hurt to begin with? Turns out transfuse in StarCraft is kind of magic. Hydra Lurker Ling going to try and flank down the south. If he can get position on this base, it's going to be big. 6 High Templar. They've only got a few storms between them. He needs to be using that energy recharge to fill up some of these other High Templar. He's low on storms right now, guys. He's only got 2 or 3 available. Oh, Lurkers. Okay, they get a volley on the High Templar, but only 1 volley. Tempests are ready. Zealot counterattack. Classic's doing a really good job of biding time, controlling space here. Storms on those Lurkers could be massive. and needs those Tempests to start picking away. 1 Lurker down, make it 2. Really well done. Stalkers take out number 3 and number 4. Oh, man. Classic. Looking so good right now. Another Storm goes down, pushing those Lurkers back. Zealots got cleaned up in the north, though. Ling Hydra could flank around that top left side, or he could look to surround this army. He's going to look to surround the army. There's not much support for the High Templar. Realizing the High Templar are in the open, Rogue goes for a YOLO maneuver, dives in with Lings and Hydras, but he gets a really nice angle. And oh no, Classic losing all of his High Templar, Zealots, his Stalkers. One of the Tempests gets shot down by the Nanomuscular Swell Hydras. And he says, taste my Hydralisk, you silly Protoss player. Tempests falling. Where are the High Templar? He needs to be using that energy recharge. High Templar, energy recharge. A Storm could have held that ramp right there. 1 Storm could have cleared that. He's still not making High Templar. Classic, 1400 gas in the bank, forgetting that energy recharge is an ability in this entire game. And this is the early days of PTR practice, guys, for you players just not using the new abilities yet. It's kind of crazy how much we've developed in the last 2 weeks. I don't think Classic of today would have made this mistake the way he did 2 weeks ago on the PTR. That's crazy. Yeah, he just healed the battery up, I think, guys. It's just old habits die hard. Old habits die hard, guys. 2 carriers going to come out now. Classic. I don't think carriers are getting you out of this position you're in, mate. Especially not with Corruptors already. Oh, the Corruptors are just going to dive. Look at these Tempests walk forward and just lose. Lurkers coming at the same time. Tempests, say goodnight. He doesn't have any Storms. He could have it if he'd energy recharged earlier, but now it's on cooldown. Tempests are getting picked off. And that is a disaster. Rogue all over this game. Just looked way too smooth for him. I do think a lack of energy recharge being used was pretty big. But definitely Classic just taking a bad base. Not really doing anything with his forward blink pressure. Felt like this was maybe almost an all-in or a really committed Stalker attack that just achieved nothing. Because Rogue was able to get away with rushing into Hydras. Hydraling, pretty good against Blink Stalker, finds another carrier, and it is absolutely just an easy win for here for the maxed out Zerg player. He can A-move, doesn't need to do anything fancy, got too much stuff. 3 times the army supply. Says, oh, you got cannons there? No worries, I'll attack down here. Lurkers will burrow on top of these cannons. Looks like one of them will go down. Corruptor's still dancing. He gets rid of the Observer. See, the Corruptor Overseer snipes the Observer, which means you can't even see the Lurkers anymore. Classic has to tap out, and Rogue ties up the series. Alright. Game 3, Rogue in the top left of Whispers of Gold, Classic in the bottom right. This map, I think, favors Zerg aggression, because I think it's a bit hard to defend the shorter rush distances as well, some of these wide open areas. On the other hand, I have seen players just roll over, especially using the dead space, like come around this back side of the main mineral line, come around this top left side. If you get in behind the natural, you can come in from anywhere on behind the natural or into this top left into the main base. Zerg, you want to put an Overlord back here. Later on, obviously, not early. Early, you want to get your ring of vision outside your bases, on the edges, spot those oracles coming in from the sides. But you do want to get one in the back just to see when that oracle comes in and out so you can move your queens to respond. Now, Classic's going to play no scout game 3, which I think is a really good call. Very early gas first, build order. Lets himself get a massive amount of gas, minerals by not sending that worker across the map. And if you're going gateway first all the time anyway, you're letting him expand to his natural. This way you're just doing it. The only risk is if he 12 pool gambles in game 3, then you're going to get punished. So I think it's a good time to do this. And you can see Classic, look at the gateway timing, perfectly done. So we can go 21 Cybercore and a minute 37. Beautifully timed build order. And second gas goes down into a second pylon at 22. It should be a probe and then a second pylon. And it looks like he's just going to build that second pylon right here. Otherwise, he would have moved the probe already. Oh, no, he's going to... Why would you pull a probe off minerals to do that? Classic. These guys are standing right here with nothing to do. You pulled a guy off minerals for that. Old habits die hard. That's such a weird thing to do. That's not even an old habit. The old habit would be use the probe that's not doing anything. That's so funny. It's a small inefficiency. It doesn't really matter in the grand scheme. He basically just gave up 10 minerals, right? What a loser. 10 mineral disadvantage. So dumb. Chronoing an adept. Second adept can come out after that. Usually if you chrono the first, good chance you're going to chrono the second. And Rogue's going to take this triangle third base in front of his main. I really hate taking this base because I find it awkward to defend from that high ground as well. Especially if a prism comes in, they can drop and hit your workers from the high ground. but to each his own. Looks like the Adept comes out, and actually second one does not get chronoed, so much more of an economic focus for Classic as he does chrono probes out very hard. And I imagine we'll see a third Adept, an Oracle, and then a Pylon. Meanwhile, Ling Speed is kind of delayed. Okay, this is 3 minutes. He hasn't started Ling Speed. Rogue's like, oh, you didn't scout and you're not sending a second chrono on the gateway? If he doesn't see a second chrono, he likes to skip Ling Speed. This is Rogue's special adjustment in this matchup. I'm trying to think about how players could take advantage of this. One way is you could just always not chrono the second Adept and then still send it straight across the map and know that he'll never have Ling Speed until very late. Like, you can be a bit more ballsy with your Adept movements against Rogue. On the other hand, Rogue does mix in some crazy drone drill Ling Flood all-ins, so that is an issue. You'd be exposing yourself to risk by doing that. Oh, Void Ray after Oracle. Hello. A couple of Overlords are on this side of the map as well. If he can clean up these two Overlords, that'd be a great start with that Void Ray. Depths shading in. Cancel. Good cancel. And he's going to take out a Lava there. Yeah, 11 hit points. Depths can take that out. And gets the extra Lava as well. So 2 Lava down. Nicely done to limit the Zerg production. Spore Crawler's coming up in the main. It's not ready just yet. Third Nexus starting just before the 4-minute mark. Very efficient opening. Okay, Creep Tumor does get sniped. Oracle's going to go up to the natural. Finds itself 1 drone. Doesn't quite get the second. Good pullback on those for Rogue. Now the Void Ray pops, but look at this, guys. Overlord's actually up here to the right, hiding a bit. This one's back here. So he's going to go across the map, look for Overlords. The only one that's exposed is this one and this one down here below the main base. And the Void Ray, I mean, actually there's one Overlord up the top. So it looks like he might hunt that down. But you want to get a move on. He could just prismatically line kill this one as well. Okay, he sees this or this one over here. He's going to come back and go for the safety pickoff. Fleet Beacon. 3 base carrier. Old school. Rogue's already got a lair finish though. Oh. It's too late to go Tempests. Third base, super early into Tempest would be a bizarre build order. Adept's coming forward. Oh, he's going to get 1. Okay, only 1 drone. Adepts go down. Void Ray cleans up the Overlord. Is it going to be carriers or is it going to be Tempest? I have no idea. He needs to build another pylon. No, he doesn't. Nexus finishes. Gives him 15 supply. Carriers it is. So the first carrier started up. He needs air weapons. He's probably going to wait to start that next carrier first of all. The gas has just started mining on this natural. Going to be a little while till he has the gas. Queenling Nidus. Rogue's doing a Chadray Annihilator. Oh, this is bad for Classic, guys. He's going to have 9 queens popping into his base with mass Zergling. Oh, is this just a build order counter? I mean, I think Classic could defend it maybe, but he needs to be non-stop warping in units off those gateways, and he's not doing that right now. If he can get both carriers out before the Nidus comes in, how many queens do you think you can kill with 2 carriers? Okay, I think you can probably kill like 6. But with Nidus, they're going to have creep, which means they can transfuse. Oracle comes in, doesn't know about that Nidus worm. It's just up there out of vision. Good responses so far for Rogue. He's got to remember to send just 1 unit in, sets it off, and Massling coming across the map. Battery's going down. Classic seems to realize, wait, why don't you have many drones on that third? What the hell's going on? He hears the screech of the Nidus. The queens are popping out on his side of the map. Normally you drop a creep tumor there as well. Rogue's not even going to bother. He's just YOLOing in as quickly as he possibly can. He's going to throw another Nidus, then maybe put a creep tumor down outside the base. Queens already take out an Oracle. First carrier is out, but the Adepts and Stalker get surrounded by the Lings. Battery's getting hammered. There's no forge. There's no forge. You can't build cannons. If he had a forge, I think he could defend this. Without a forge, I don't think it's possible. Carriers and Void Ray trying to defend. Rogue going for a big all-in gamble. Nidus does get cleaned up by probes after just unloading a few Zerglings. I love the reactive wall-off. Carrier's trying to defend. He refills the battery there with the energy recharge to get a little bit more healing on these carriers. There's still a bunch of interceptors that are doing damage. The queens are running low on transfuse, but as those interceptors start to fall, that's where you run into problems. The carriers actually should be closer. If he moves the carriers and Void Rays in range and lets them tank, the carrier damage output will stay high enough. He can defend this. I think Classic can defend this, guys. I think he can actually defend this because the carriers aren't dying. And there's no way to target the interceptors. You have to pull back with your queens and hold position to make sure they fight them. But he keeps attacking the carriers with a few of these units. 18 probes just went down. Maybe he hasn't held this. The batteries in the third are helping him defend. Those probes need to defend themselves. They need to turn and fight. The Void Ray's taking damage. The carrier's doing big damage. 4 Spore Crawlers on the front. He popped drones out. Is that going to help, though? That's a lot of carriers now. The Spores need to get focus fired in a moment. The carriers and the Void Ray need to help out. The main base, though, is in jeopardy. Third base getting overrun as well. Oh, it is enough damage. Never mind, guys. I thought somehow he was going to make some magic happen. But remember, he has no gateway production. He's got 1 gateway. He just doesn't have any money. The third base gets over on 43 probes go down. And you know when your opponent's building spores in your base, it always feels a little bit rough. Always feels like your opponent's done you a bit dirty. Classic not wanting to leave, but I don't see him getting control of his natural or third again in this game. Rogue finishes it off in style with the old Chadray Annihilator, the build that Dark invented on day 1 of the Void Ray getting buffed in 2019-2020. He figured that build out in a weekly cup. It didn't work in his first game against Skillus, but he kept doing it, made it part of his repertoire, and even Rogue sees the glory of the Chadray Annihilator, the build that destroys a lot of Protoss players when they don't see it coming. Knight is Queenling, really good all-in, and Rogue gets the 2-1. GG, well played.